SRS. SRS stands for Software Requirement Specification, and we know that it is commonly known as SRS, and it is one of the most important document in the field of software engineering. It is a formal document which provides a complete and detailed description of all the requirements of a software system that is planned to be developed. Apart from that, it describes the expected behavior, features, performance, limitations, and constraints of the software product. And the main purpose of an SRS document is to clearly define what the software system should do and what services it should provide to the users. Apart from that, it focuses on the requirements and expectations of the customers rather than the technical methods which used to develop the software. Also, this SRS document is prepared during the requirement analysis phase of the SDLC, which stands for Software Development Life Cycle. I explained that earlier in a previous video. Apart from that, before starting the actual coding and development process, software engineer collects the requirements from customers and users and other stakeholders, and these requirements are then analyzed, organized, and then documented in a form of an SRS. We can say that it also act as a complete agreement. I am talking about SRS. SRS act as a complete agreement between the customer and the software development team, and it ensures that both the parties have the same understanding about the software requirements, expected functionalities, and project objectives. This prevents the conflicts and misunderstandings during the later stages of software development. So now let's move to our next point. We can say that a properly written SRS describes every important aspects of the software system, including purpose and scope of the software, features and functions that the system should provide, behavior of the software under different conditions, interactions between software and systems, security and reliability requirements, etc. You can read the list. And apart from that, SRS document works as the foundation for all the activities of software development, and here developers use it as a reference while designing and coding the software, and similarly testers use it to prepare the test cases and for verifying the system, and here project managers use it for planning and controlling the projects. It also considered a blueprint of the software system because it provides a complete picture of the final product before development begins. Apart from that, we should know that a good SRS reduces the chances of project failures because many software problems occurs due to unclear, incomplete, and misunderstood requirements. And by documenting the requirements properly at the beginning, organizations can save time, can reduce the development cost, and can improve the software quality, and can also deliver a product that can satisfy the customer expectations. Now, let's move to the importance of SRS in software engineering. So, importance of SRS. These are some points which describes its importance, such as it provides clear understanding of the requirements, it acts as a communication medium, it helps in software planning and project management, it reduces the development errors and risks, it provides basis for software design and development, provides a foundation for software testing. I will explain all of them. And it also supports software maintenance and future enhancements, and it helps in controlling the changes in the requirements, and in the end what we want, it improves the software quality. So let's first understand our first point. We can say that the main purpose of an SRS document is to provide a clear understanding of software requirement, and it explains exactly what the customer expects from the software system and what functionalities functionalities should be included. And during the software development, different people may understand requirements differently, but an SRS removes such confusions by documenting every requirement in a structured and understandable format. Now, it also, as we know, it acts as a communication medium. So we can say that SRS works as a common communication document between all the stakeholders involved in a project, and these stakeholders may include customers, users, business analysts, project managers, software architects, developers, and testers. And each person involved in the project can refer to the SRS document to understand the objectives, scopes, and requirements of the system. And it also reduces the communication gaps between, because all the information is available in a written form instead of depending only on verbal discussions. And it also helps in software planning and project management. How? As you know, it plays an important role in planning and managing software projects. It provides a detailed information about the scope and complexity of the project, and based on the requirements mentioned in the SRS, project manager can estimate the development time, required budget, number of developers needed, and hardware and software resources, and possible risks and challenges also. And with, we can say that proper planning in this helps the organization to complete the project within the expected time and cost. Let's discuss our fourth point: reduces development errors and risks. Yes, it's correct. As you know, many software failures occurs because of the incorrect understanding or incomplete requirements that we know. And here, SRS helps in reducing the such problems by clearly documenting all the requirements before development starts. And when the developers have a proper understanding of system requirements, they can design and implement the software more accurately. And it also prevents the unnecessary modification during later stages of the development, which saves time and reduces project cost. You can write this line everywhere. And also, in this, early identification of requirements also helps in finding possible risks and technical challenges before they become a major problem. Now, next is, it provides a foundation for software testing. So we can say SRS is an important reference document for the testing phase of software development, and testers use the functional and non-functional requirements mentioned in the SRS to create test cases and test scenarios. It helps the testers to verify whether the developed software satisfies all the specified requirements or not. For example, if the SRS states that the system should allow users to reset password, then tester can create a test case to verify the functionality. Therefore, SRS helps in ensuring that the final software product is reliable, accurate, and meet the customer expectations. Now, some points we can, I think, understand, like it supports software maintenance and future enhancements. How? We can say that software maintenance is required after deployment. We know that, to fix the errors, improving the performance, and for adding new features. And here, SRS document helps the maintenance teams to understand the original purpose, functionality, and limitations of the software. And when the new developers works on the existing project, they can refer to the SRS to understand how the system was designed and what requirement it was created to fulfill. And it also makes the future modifications easier, and also reduces the dependency on previous developers. It also helps in controlling the changes in the requirements. As we know, software requirements may change during the development process due to the changing business needs or customer expectations. SRS provides a structured way to manage these changes, and any modifications can be compared with the existing requirements to understand its impact on the system. And this also helps the project managers and developers to decide whether a change should be accepted or rejected. Remember that. And finally, it improves the software quality. A detailed and well organized SRS contribute to the development of high quality software. Please remember that point so you can write in your exam. And when the requirements are clearly defined, developers can focus on implementing the correct features, and testers can properly verify the system behavior. And it ensures that the final software product is reliable, efficient, secure, and user friendly. Now, let's discuss the characteristics of good SRS. So, these are some characteristics of SRS, like correctness, it should be correct, completeness, clear and unambiguous, consistent, verifiable, modifiable, traceable, prioritize. Let's understand that. First, correctness. A SRS document must contain only accurate and valid data requirements that represents the actual needs and expectations of the customers and stakeholders. And every requirement mentioned in the document should reflect what the software system is expected to perform. And also, incorrect requirements, as you know, can lead to the development of a software system that does not satisfy the user needs. Therefore, correctness is one of the most important quality of an SRS document. And we can say that a correct SRS ensures that the software development teams works according to the actual customer expectations, and no unnecessary features are added to the system. Next is completeness. A complete SRS should include all the necessary requirements required for developing and operating the software system, and it should provide the complete information about the system, including functional requirements, non-functional requirements, interfaces, constraints, assumptions, and dependencies. And it should be clear and unambiguous. As you know, the requirements written in the SRS should be clear, simple, and understandable. This point I am explaining. And in this, each requirement should have only one possible interpretation, so that different people involved in the project understand in the same way. And using unclear or I was saying, using unclear or confusing languages can create misunderstanding between customers and developers, which may result in a incorrect software development. So we can say that a clear SRS should use simple and precise language, and should avoid unnecessary technical complexities, and also avoid words with multiple meanings. Now, consistent. In this, all requirements mentioned in the SRS should be consistent with each other and should not contain any contradictions. And different sections of the document should support the same objectives and should not provide conflicting informations. And inconsistent, as you know, inconsistent information creates problems during software design and development, because developers may not know which requirements should be followed. And in the end, we can say that a consistent SRS ensures that all the requirements work together properly, and different modules of the system have compatible requirements, and developers can implement the features without confusion. Now, I think rest you can see and can understand by yourself. And these are some components of SRS. First is introduction, second overall description, third specific requirements, functional requirements, non-functional requirements, external interface requirements, system constraints, assumptions, and dependencies. I will explain them in a separate video sometime, and you can also check them on internet. Don't fail, just study for your exam. And last, understand these also, at least 3 of them I should explain. so verifiable. In this, we can say that every requirement mentioned in an SRS should be measurable and testable, and a requirement is considered verifiable when the tester can check whether it has been successfully implemented or not. Also, requirements that cannot be tested can create a difficulty in determining whether the software meets the customer expectations or not. And if we talk about modifiable, an SRS structure should be structured in a way that the changes can be made easily whenever required. And during the software development, requirements may change because of customer feedback, business requirements, technological changes, or market conditions. Remember that. And a properly organized SRS allows the modifications without affecting the entire document. And we can say that a modifiable SRS should have a proper structure and should avoid unnecessary repetitions and keep the related requirements together. And this modifiability helps the organizations to manage changing requirements efficiently. Now, next is traceable. In this, traceability means that each requirement in the SRS can be tracked throughout the entire software development lifecycle. And in this, every requirement should have a unique reference or identification number so that the developers and tester can follow its progress from planning to the implementation and testing. So that's it, guys, for today. Thanks for listening to me.